Ladies, take their time. Men, help them arrange those seats. Oh, that's your question. Just like we had it last night. Pamogite, that's too left. Udlini telisho isam, yes, Mojna. Udlini te suda drugoi. Is there a plug there? No?
Are you okay with Pastor Banjo and Pastor Banjo and what we're doing and asking them then to pray?
Yeah. Bless you, sir. Deta tam dois nomes zadem, né? Siroji, te bias.
I want him to be close to you and the pastor. The anointing will rub off. Beauty and holiness. Keep telling him that you do. Okay, Pastor Sunday is waiting for us, so let's settle down.
Thank you. Nada na veno što taj show открыть, жарко. Може би отсюда. Дверь там можно открыть и окно. He's going to do it. Okay. И дверь на улицу. Not right now. It's going to make it soon. When it begins to make it, we'll close it.
Okay, so we're leaving it open, the door.
Right now. I mean, you said the fridge? Yeah, it's not started making noise yet. I think when it begins to make noise, we'll remove the fridge from there. Так, надо включить во время. Закрой дверь в кухне, которая. Надо начать во время, чтобы потом, чтобы вчера шушу я заметил, позже шушу началось. Okay, are you people ready? Okay, all right, включите. Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Let's greet everybody watching us from Facebook. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, here we are. Welcome to the second day of History Makers. Only the way you people wrote this, you just wrote day 2. I saw the one with Pastor Derek. You didn't put session 1 or something. You need to, otherwise they will not know day 2. What's the difference between that one and that one? So you need to put session 1, 10 o'clock. Then, or whatever, 9:30. Session 2, 11. Session 3, 2. Or, so that people could follow. It has to be systematic. Then where is Kate? Kate is not here today. Can you call her? No, Puskai, no, just tell, either you fix that or you tell Joshua to fix it later on so that he doesn't, to write the names. But call Kate for me. Or maybe Mayowa could do it. This session, something. Don't worry, if you didn't hear, it's okay. Ja dziś сказал, чтобы ты мне напомнила. Надо было сразу, надо за мной наблюдать. То есть, okay, when you are ready, Babusha, I need to tell you something. So, Kate and Babusha, after the session 3 with Pastor Bosse, what we need to do is we need to give Kate some time to come and tell you, we are going to be using some of their time. So whatever the assignments are, we need to have 1 hour. 1 hour of their assignments has to be for me, for my problem, not just for them really. Kate is working with my Facebook page so that I might return. So my target is it has to be 100,000. So she started working on it from February now to help. So in 1 month it has gone to 50,000. So, but she needs more people. How many people do you have helping you now?
50, but not all.
50 people. 50 people. But it's not enough. But what they need is just to put on the like. Just to, we have people liking my page, so we need to add them. Just like that. So we need maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour of your day today because you could be organized. You are organized righteousness. Since you are here, so we're going to be, one part of the assignments we are going to be having every session, every day, is to go there and do your 1 hour and add. And we're going to ask next day, did you do your 1 hour? How many people did you add? So if each one of you could help us add 1,000 every day, we have 50,000, 70,000 likes waiting. We already have 100,000 people who want to join, but we cannot add them enough. So we need your help. Otherwise, we could lose it. Facebook will remove something, it could disappear. So if we could add them, then maybe out of the 100,000, maybe not all of them will add. So even if it is half that will respond, then after my birthday, you could have Dr. Adelaja back. So we need your help. Maybe not just the help of people who are here, maybe the help of people who are at home too. If you have time, 1 hour a day, just to help us to click the add button. That's what we need. So, but she will explain to you how to do that after Pastor Bosse's session, right?
Yeah, and I would just need to collect emails a little bit earlier before the session. So when we will have break, I will come to you to collect some emails to give you access, okay?
So again, good morning. I know you have to sit down because you need to take your note. I know you have started with Pastor Derek, and Pastor Derek is a formidable disciple, and he's doing it. He's bringing it to pass. Is that success? You don't have your glasses today. I almost couldn't recognize you. And your beard is a little bit different in shape this time. Welcome. It's amazing that you make it from medical school. Wow. So because they're in classes now, in session, so you have to catch up. Priorities. You got your priorities right. So before we start this class, this is going to really be my first session. I need to listen to, like I promised you, 2 practical. Because if you are not changing, If you are not getting transformed, if you are not growing, if you are not getting something practically, there's no need for me to teach. We are not here about theory. We are both about the theory and about transformation. We must see what's going on with your feelings, with your emotions, with your conclusions, and all that. So where are the two? Yesterday we had Ufoma, and Jefferson. So today, who wants to be the first one? Who is the boldest? Raise your hand and say aye.
Here's one. Here's one. They didn't
Okay.
say aye, I'm sorry.
Okay, are you ready? You shouldn't be here. One of the laws of history makers is that you are not allowed to be humble like that here.
Did you hear Denise what he said?
But because he had to shout for you and for you, you are not allowed to be so humbled here. It's not allowed. So if you have it in your heart as a desire to do something, you are not in church here. And you don't need to wait and be praying for the will of God. When I'm asking already, and you are still asking, that's not humility. That's false humility. That's number one. Number two, sometimes, because I've done this before, and maybe that's what you are doing, you might be sitting down there and thinking, if it is the will of God, let him point at me, let him call me.
Let the light flicker.
Then I will tell you right now that it has been the will of God for a long time. Only quit putting fleeces for him on the table, on the floor, on the table. So, church has taught us to be so religious, to be so religiously conscious that we're godly irrelevant. We are irrelevant for God. So God needs us all the time and every moment. Every minute, God needs you. So, and he says that he's the one who produces in us our to will and to do. That is our, will, our desire. To do his will, if it is his will and his purpose and his good will, he produced that, he gives you the will to do it, the desire. Why should you still be waiting for him to come do something again? Are you just laughing at him? Are you joking at God?
Why do you work against him?
Yeah, you are actually making fun of him. You are ridiculing him.
Resisting him.
So if he has given you that desire to do something that is his will, to do something that will glorify him, you have to be an upstart. One of the series that I don't know if any one of you listened to it. In one of, not a series, one of the upstart. Those who win in life. Those who win in life must be an upstart. Upstart is never wait when you know that you must do something. Never you waste another second. 5 seconds is too much. You are too late. Immediate obedience. You must be an upstart. So next time, when I say, who is ready? I want to see you begin to fight here. I mean, to struggle to be the first one. That's what I mean.
He's asking, what's the word? It's upstart. Somebody who's like Peter, who's just immediate, spontaneous, quick, responding immediately.
Yeah. So I don't know. When I taught that class in my live broadcast, do you remember I put 2 guys? Or 2 girls, 2 ladies who were struggling to be the first? Because those are the people who win in life. You didn't see that? No. Oh. When you get back home, it's my first assignment for you. Go look for who wins in life. That's one of the series. And, you got to fight for it. Not just for you, but for everybody. So this is a teaching opportunity for you. When anybody says there is a chance to praise God, to worship God, to thank God, to do anything that will benefit God, benefit humanity, or benefit, at your purpose in life. Jump into it. Don't believe those doctrines saying, well, maybe you need to wait, you need to pray, you need to get confirmation. What confirmation? God has already said, go ye therefore to the ends of the earth. So you want to wait for confirmation again, so he's a liar. You want to make God a liar? Go ye therefore. If you need to go, if you need to do something, get up and do it. Pay the price.
Excuse me. Now, Pastor just gave you a homework assignment, which you won't get from Babu or Igor. And if you missed it, it's because you're not paying attention. If you got it, you will move forward much faster. He gave a homework assignment. He said the first thing you do, and he doesn't waste words. I know him.
Yes, yes.
The first thing you do when you get home is what? Who heard it?
Give it to him. Give it the microphone to him a little
The
bit.
first thing you do when you go home is what?
Upstart. The
Go
upstart
listen to the series about
Not
Upstart.
Upstart
Yeah.
is the series. The name of the series is How to Win in Life.
How to win in life. So to go and find that series, you find it, it's your responsibility, and then study it and get it. Because he's giving the example, he even explained it for you, what you're going to see. Two ladies fighting to be first. Thank you.
Yeah. So Upstart is one of the qualities of people who win in life. Just one. There are several others there. But so the general series is called Who Wins in Life. But Denise, I'm sure you've not had enough sleep, but you are looking so nice and so fresh. You would like her to stand or sit? Show me an stala. No, show me stala. Eli show me sela. Would like to stand? Oh, you don't like to stand. Oh, you want to sit? Okay, okay. It's making noise now. Okay. Now that at Klushit is Holodenic is Rozetki. Okay. And another lesson right there for us. You see, Denise had a choice and a chance either to stand or to sit. Now, I'm the pastor. I wanted her to stand. But another learning curve here for us. But she knows what she wanted. Because she knows that if she stands, she will not be able to read a note. So you know some people what they will do? Out of fear and out of blind obedience. Just because pastor said, stand and come here. It's not convenient for them. And it's not to the benefit, to their benefit right now, to their best interest. They will not explain to me the situation. They will not try to, tell me, oh, sorry, pastor, it's not. They know what they want, but even though it's not convenient for them, it's against their wish, some people will still compromise and say, pastor said it, so, okay. But pastor doesn't know some intricacies. Pastor doesn't know that you have a paper in your lap, that you need to read it, that it's not convenient for you, that if you stand, you will not be able to do what you needed to do. So that's another point for you. Be free enough to express who you are. Be free enough to be yourself. It's just like saying Jefferson, what he said yesterday, what you people actually said about him, when you had the class, the visitation to the children place. If he had been under this kind of intimidation that I'm talking about, everybody is sitting, this is a different place. He was there for the first time in that children's center, even the first time in Ukraine. He doesn't know how the leaders and the owners and the whatever ministers there will, the protocol, that's good. He doesn't know how the protocol works, but because he had discovered a truth, no other person might know that truth, but it will not allow the protocol to kill that revelation in him. What his heart knows to be right. It will not say, oh, well, nobody is doing this right now here. Well, I don't want to embarrass myself. So that's the same lesson right here. So he went ahead to do what he knows to be the right thing to do. The same. She knows exactly what was the right thing to do. I thought the right thing to do was for her to stand. Because I was just seeing the picture from one angle. But she knows something else that I didn't realize at that point. So thank you for that. Because now that's a lesson for all of us. Because Christians are more, they are more controlled. Or more like a zombie. And especially when it's a leader who is telling them to do something. And in churches, a lot of Christians have gotten themselves into a lot of mess. They don't have the money to give. Maybe they have that money really in their pocket or in their account, but they had budgeted that money for something else, or they had planned to use that money for their children, or for their family, or for their health, or for their surgery. But because the man of God is calling the pulpit, that, oh, you must give, oh, let's give, we need to do this, we have this need. Some of them are compelled to actually spend the money they don't have. This happens all the time. Yeah. And they will even, some of them are even going to write a check. Maybe not even faith, but they will go into credit.
In faith, quote unquote.
Yeah, faith. Oh, it's called faith check? Okay. Faith check. Or some of them use their credit card. So they put themselves in debt, in trouble, in a lot of perpetual slavery into Uncle Sam just because a leader figure, a pastor or a father, whoever a leader is, we don't have a balanced, healthy attitude to leadership. We should be able to be free enough to let the leader knows what you know and why it's not the best thing for you to do right now. And that is important for you to be an history maker. If you don't have that, let me tell you something. This whole world is built in a way to always caution you, restrain you, tell you you can't do that, tell you that, no, it's not culturally corrected, it's not accepted here, it's not politically okay. People will tell me I cannot dress like this. People will tell me I shouldn't wear something as it's not in Europe. This is not cool. This is like you are an actor, or you are here. They call me a clown. You are like a clown, you know. But I'm not going to allow myself to be muzzled and to be intimidated and be broken. I know what I need and what I'm after. So you must be sure enough, because why am I just? You might be thinking, Pastor, we want to hear the teaching. Why are you using all our time to just talk about this little insignificant stuff? These things that we call insignificant, they are the things that you might need most when you get back. Because when you get back to your church, people will be wanting you to do things under manipulation that you will need a strong position. Even though there is no teaching like that, a special teaching or something. But it is a training. So anything you do, I'm going to be jumping at you. You didn't raise up your hand on time, I'm going to jump at you. You did something right, I'm going to jump at you and tell you. Because you will need those things, you will need to fall back on them when you get back. So, especially this one. Never you think your leader is a person that could not be contradicted. You've got to contradict when you are sure of your point. Even God himself said, bring out your argument. Let us discuss. Let's talk about it. If you convince me, even though I'm the leader, all right, you are. Thank you for convincing me. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't see it that way. That is how a healthy leader should behave. But if a leader is telling you, no, don't even raise your voice, don't even open your mouth, that is not a leader. That is a slave master, just for you to know. So even God is saying, bring out your argument. Let us talk together. Let us discuss together. If God is asking you to bring out your argument and your reasoning, if God is saying, let us talk, let us discuss it. Bring your strong argument. Tell me why I shouldn't do it that way. If God is discussing, if God is giving you that privilege, that benefit of a doubt, even though he is God, he knows everything. He even knows what you're thinking. But he still gives you that benefit. How much does God honor us? He doesn't need you to talk for him to figure out what you mean. He knew what you meant, but he wanted to honor you. It's all about honoring you because you are his image. He wants you to feel significant. He wants you to feel important. He wants you to know that you can discuss with him. He doesn't want you to be a slave looking down, Daddy, I don't know, Daddy, okay, sir, okay. But in your heart, you are cursing him. Because he said you should go do that, and you know you shouldn't do it, but because you cannot talk, you say, okay, Daddy, sir, yes, sir. But you hate him for it. And that brings about, conflict, but you don't let him know that you hate him. You don't let him know that you're angry at him. And he thinks that you're so obedient. That is hypocrisy. Because you are not being taught to stand strong enough and present your case and, argue, or maybe not argue like conflicting, but bring up your argument and, explain situation. Talk to your leader. Let them know what you're thinking. But if you just keep everything in your heart and then you are not, it's not healthy to you even. It's not healthy for you. Because when you don't agree and you don't voice it out, it's going to destroy you later on. It's going to become like a cancer. So it's better to always say, no, this is not what have that liberty. And if somebody gets annoyed, it's not your problem, it's his problem. Amen. So thank you for showing us that example, for letting us know that no, it's not convenient for me to stand right now because she has an argument. I need to read. So I would prefer to say. So never you respect Pastor Sunday to the extent that you are having something in your heart and you don't even voice it out. Never you respect Pastor Sunday to the extent that that you know something is right. And I might not know it. I might think the other thing is right. But you know what is right. Why? If you don't really love me or respect me, if you are not coming to explain to me what you know to be right. Because I need the truth too. I don't know everything. I need your help. I need your contribution. But you will constantly fall under the pressure from everywhere that people will try to limit you. People will try to make you do what they want.
What they think is correct.
Maybe they think it's correct, but they want you to do. That's the whole world. That's the way the whole world system is. Everybody wants you to do what he wants. Your brother will call you, they want you to do what they want. Your relatives will call you, they want you to do what they want. Your pastor will call you, they want you to do what you want. Your brothers and sisters in the church will call you, they want you to do what they want. That's just the way the world is. But you must know what you want and what God wants for you. And you must be straight about it. So Denise, thank you for the lesson again. And this is your chance. Here you come, but we must speak loud and clear. How did your story start with DSA family? Because then before you tell us what you learned when you got here to Ukraine, but long before you got to Ukraine. And if you people don't know who Denise is, because I was speaking to her this morning, I said, Denise, I can't remember that on the platform. Then she said on the platform, her name and her husband's name, they call themselves Ezenwa. Two Ezenwa. Yeah, they are the ones. Ezenwa. So I recognize that immediately. So this Ezenwa, Denise, that's the wife.
Good morning, everyone.
Speak up.
Oh, now you just disobeyed an instruction.
Good morning, everyone.
Louder.
My name is Denise, and I am a mother of 4 children and a wife to a wonderful husband. I came across Pastor Sunday through my husband back in December 2016. He came across him through Miles Monroe, who we've been watching his videos.
If you don't hear very well, let her know is what I just taught you now. If she's not loud enough, you now be the one to caution her.
Did you understand the instruction? You don't hear her clearly. You have to tell her now. Don't wait. Do you hear her clearly? Tell her.
You see what they were, before he spoke, you see what they were doing?
Yes.
They were not hearing her, but...
Listen, if you obey the first time, you show God, not just Pastor Sunday, that you're serious about this. He said 10 minutes ago, you're going to be tempted to think, many of you, come on, Pastor, why are you wasting the time with these practical instructions? Get to the teaching. That is the very essence of the wrong religious thinking. The teaching is abstract concepts. The teaching he gives people here, every single teaching is practically related. So he's already been teaching us the last 15 minutes a very practical life lesson. So if you're just waiting for some abstract concept, you're not getting the point. This is the point, all these practical things. So do it right now. Stand up and tell her, please.
Please, may you talk a little bit louder?
I want to say something. Lord, I break the spirit of timidity and fear in the name of Jesus. Let strength come to your daughter. Let boldness come like Peter prayed in Acts chapter 4. Let the spirit of boldness rest upon her that she can speak to millions in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Now that was my friend, a prophet of God speaking, and his prayer was a good prayer. And it's based on truth. But I will tell you, out of 13 years of experience of relationship with Pastor Sunday, her, even without that prayer, if she would just obey the instruction, the same thing would be broken without that prayer. Is that true, sir?
Yeah, she just needs to do what he's been told.
Just do what's right. Truth brings light and freedom. That's what you saw at the rehabilitation centers yesterday. That's why the grace is there, that they get free immediately, even without 22 hours of deliverance and cold turkey.
My husband and I came across.
Oh,
Pastor
that's a
Sunday
beautiful thing now.
in
I think what
December.
you didn't know, Denise, is that the microphone, it doesn't work as a microphone. It only goes to the TV for recording. So it's not helping you. You have to do all the work.
It was December 2016 that my husband called me to come and watch a video that he was listening to online. And I saw Pastor Sunday. And
With his coat of many colors.
yes. And the video that was playing that day was ladies, before you think of marriage, think self-sufficient. And I was immediately curious to hear what this man had to say to women about being self-sufficient and what it is that a woman needs to be self-sufficient in before she can even think marriage. So I personally and my husband, we come from two different backgrounds. He was brought up strong religion, culture was so embedded in him that
You don't even sound Nigerian.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Let me, guys. You sound like either from South Africa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see? I got it.
So with that said,
No, but you told us the background of your husband, but you didn't tell us yours yet.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
And with me being brought up, I was born and raised a Catholic, but it was not. I was not brought up in such a religious way as he was, and at the beginning, this was my greatest fear because I felt that it would be a barrier between us in growing in our marriage, and because I felt that, especially being in an African marriage where you have to be so submissive in your marriage to your husband, I would have to start, praying and fasting, doing all the things that I wasn't used to. But it wasn't the case. And I thank God because, he is a man that is willing to learn, and he, in the 13 years that we've been together, he has carried me along, and he has always been patient with me and helping me grow spiritually. And ever since I started listening to Pastor Sunday, I think that was when my breakthrough came. Even though I have been in church over the last, I would say, 7 years, I never got that breakthrough because I just wasn't understanding. I was questioning everything to a point that my husband started calling me rebellious. He thought, he's
Because that's what he was told in the
yes.
church too.
He started seeing me like I was rebelling. He would say, you are using this as an excuse because you don't want to go out to help the church for outreach. You don't want to help the church to bring in the multitudes that they're praying for. I didn't understand why I had to do that for the church to draw multitudes into the church, because I believe that you draw the multitudes to the kingdom of heaven. It's the choice of the individual where they want to serve. I don't have to serve in a church for me to be a good Christian.
yeah.
And this became a problem. But I thank God the day he found you. I was so happy that he found you, because it made it easier for me for him to understand where I was coming from. And to be honest, the day we watched that video on the self-sufficiency of a woman before entering marriage, he looked at me and he said, "This is what you have been all along. This is what you brought into our marriage. You were already the self-sufficient young woman that Pastor Sunday is talking about and encouraging women to be." But he didn't see that, because it was religion, it was culture that was, veiled over him.
But I will also say, Denise, that I love my heart for your husband. Many African men that I know, they are not going to be open enough
No.
to even listen to that kind of message.
Yes.
And my wife is here. She was telling me there were some men that she invited to come and listen to that message. African men would say, but he's just a man like me. Yes. Why should he be teaching me? So there is something in your husband that you yourself had just mentioned in the beginning that he wants to learn.
Yes.
So maybe that desire for him to want to learn. In fact, when I see him, I want to give him a bow. I want to just give him, just dove my heart for him, because he's a big man. It takes a great man to recognize something great in other people and through other people. It takes a greater man to submit yourself to learn.
Yes.
I need to hear your story.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of families are actually, don't worry about the time. I'm in church, so don't worry. So, because I think a lot of families might be suffering from the very same thing that Denise is talking about right now. And conflicts. So maybe some men are actually watching, and they will begin to understand that their wives actually need sufficiency. So, and that is another thing in our word that I want to emphasize. The title of the message, which is of course on YouTube, Sunday Adelaide Official, is every woman must be self-sufficient, even before going into marriage. And in marriage too. It's a concept that Christians don't want to count with. And this is an opportunity even for the women to know that the fact that you are married, or the fact that you have a husband or you have a wife, doesn't mean that she has to be dominated. Marriage is not a calling to what's the word I'm looking for? To annihilate another human being. That is not the purpose of marriage. The purpose of marriage is not for you to obliterate another human being, our personality. That is not the purpose of marriage. And that is why I teach that topic, that every woman, before marriage especially, and in marriage, she must be self-sufficient. That's the beauty of it. When I see Ufoma and our Odafe and her husband is letting her go, staying with the kids, what a beauty. Yeah. Denise, I heard, has 4 kids. The husband decided to stay with the 4 kids and let her pursue something that is really so important to her. What a beauty. But I'm sorry to say that there are marriages where the man will say, I'm the husband, I'm the man. I don't sit at home with the kids. I will go. I'm the only one to go all the time. You never go, you just sit down with the kids. These things are tragic because the kingdom of God is suffering. Because that person, that wife, the fact that she's a woman doesn't mean that she doesn't have a calling by God. There is no human being that God created without putting something in them for the earth and for the world. It doesn't create the woman empty just because they have a womb, so that they will not have a calling or a destiny. She also has a destiny just like you, the man. She also has her own personality. And the fact that a woman got married doesn't mean that she loses her personality. She doesn't lose her personality. Help her maintain her person. Help her maintain her personality. Help her express her uniqueness. Actually, what makes you special as a woman or as a man is your difference. Help her honor her difference. But what a lot of men have done is that they have subjugated that woman, a difference, and they have crushed that difference. And they have done it in the name of family or in the name of family unity. That we must have unity, we must be the same. And women are living in marriages and they are not happy. Some women are weeping when their husband go away to work. Some of them are weeping at night. Some of them, they just use the children as the cover right now, but they are still not fulfilled. So what you are touching on, please take your time to just explain that to us. So he recognized that you were actually not rebellious.
Yes.
That what he was calling rebellious was self-sufficiency. Now, maybe there are a lot of other women here that have been called rebellion by the church, you too, that have been called rebellious by the family members, by the relatives, just because they would not dominate you. When people refuse to dominate you, when you cannot be dominated, they tag you.
Yes.
They put a, what do you call it? What's the word? A claymore in Russian. Huh? No, a label. What is the synonym? A stigma. They stigmatize you. They put a stigma, a label upon you. Just because you want to be who God created you to be. And we must address this. We must all raise this topic. So, Denise, we are all ears.
So it really opened up a whole new world in our family. Just listening just to that one message on that faithful day. And I personally knew that, I was self-sufficient, but I didn't really realize how much I had brought into my marriage, because especially as Africans, it's the man that is meant to be the one that is self-sufficient. But it was such a beautiful and a great thing to have my husband acknowledge me as that self-sufficient woman. He had, after listening to your video, to that message, he fell in love all over again with me. It was like
You see, he began to value her.
yes.
He saw your value.
Yes. Before I was just the mother of the children and the wife. But after that message, he knew that I had so much value in me.
Yeah.
Yes.
But didn't you never heard of Pastor Sunday before then?
No.
And you live in England?
Yes.
But also, is that not a unique thing that he's the one? Normally, it's the wives that invite the husband.
I was just saying to Yemi, and I've been saying it to Sister Ufoma before, that I know personally that I see it even in the church. It's the women that always, carry their husbands along, pray for their husbands. But in my situation, it was different. It was the other way around. It's my husband who's been carrying me along, who's been patient with me and praying for me to get to that point. And that's why this HMT coming here, I know definitely it's going to put me on that pedestal where me and him will be equal partners.
Yes.
I will now definitely be on the same level with him. When he speaks, I will understand what he's saying,
Yeah.
and when I speak, he will appreciate my input.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
So you listen to the message, and
So
he,
we
he
listen
also
to-
listened to it?
Yes, we both listened to it, and it really just started changing so many things. And this was only in December 2016.
So much change since December.
Yes.
So did you people decide to continue listening to other persons for Pastor Sunday, or what? What happened?
Yes, we did continue. We still listening, and I know
Yeah,
he's
was it a
listening.
decision, in an informed decision, or just sporadic or accidental, or?
No, we actually
you
after
listened to the
that
first
we
one.
did sit down. We had so many discussions about it, and so many questions, and we started questioning so many things about what we've been taught before and what we have learned and what we have been hearing, and it started clarifying so many things in the family. And it just made both of us to learn how important it is to appreciate each other and to listen to each other. And I wasn't a great speaker. My husband speaks. He will tap me at 3 a.m. and say, I cannot sleep.
I want to
We
talk."
need to talk because I'm not happy about what happened this afternoon. And I'm not like that. But, I've grown so much and I've learned so much from him. At the beginning, though, it was hard because I used to just find it so tiring. I just used to look at him and I say, this man is just disturbing me, because I
Not
just,
letting me leave.
yes, because I felt that he was coming down so hard on me using religion.
Well, many people still do that. A lot of people actually do that. I did that in the beginning of my marriage, and I had to repent for it.
Yes. And I'm really so grateful that we've moved past that and we've seen the light and we are moving ahead. And since then, it has also been revealed to us. We've actually had, my husband keeps having reoccurring dreams on certain things that he has been called to do. And surprisingly enough, it's the same vision that has been placed upon me. We have identical visions, the same dream of teaching young children, the same dream of going back from roots where we come from and installing in these young children the truth, and not just what they're hearing in church, but the truth of life. And that it's not just about religion, but it's actual reality. If you put in effort, you will get out just what you put in.
Yeah.
It's not about how much you pray, how much you fast, but how much effort do you actually put in? If you want something, how hard do you fight for it?
Yeah.
So it has really been, it's been a challenge, but I have overcome that challenge. I am meeting the expectations that I have set for myself, my family, my marriage, and I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and I'm happy because we are moving in the right direction together, because
But
I
you
think
are so articulate. Maybe you just need to discover that your potential, because your words are coming with so much authority and clarity. Beautiful.
I actually, a few years ago, I think this is about 3-4 years ago now, I've always just had it in me to, I'm a very helpful person. I think, just as they would say, your weakest point sometimes is, it could
Your
be
strength
your strong.
is your biggest
because
point, yeah.
I'm so helpful to people to a fault that it always gets thrown back at me and never appreciated. But I've always told myself, and I've always said this to my husband as well, you know, he always, back then he would say to me, you're always helping people and they don't appreciate it. And I would say to him, I'm not doing it for them. Whether they say thank you or they don't say thank you, I know in my heart that I've done what I believe is right.
Yes.
And that's all that matters. I know who will reward me.
Yes.
And that's the greatest reward that I could ever ask for. I help friends, neighbors I have 4 children, like I said, and I take them to school every morning, pick them up in the afternoon. And it occurred to me during the time that I was seeing so many children always coming late to school. And I hate seeing children being late for school. I don't understand why a mother and a father would constantly be late Monday to Friday, why they can't get their children to school on time. It's understandable maybe if it's a one-off, but not every day. It really frustrated me that I took it upon myself. I called it, at the time, it was 3 children. I told their parents that I'll be picking them up, I'll take them to school, and I'll bring them back home. We don't have a big car, so what would happen is I would have to shuffle from my house, drop my children off, come back for the next set, take them to school. And it gave me and it still does, I still do it, and it gives me such great pleasure just doing that. And I don't get paid for it, and I don't even expect them to even give me any petrol money. And I get people saying that people don't do this in the UK, and there's a lady who is a childminder, she gets paid for it, this is her job. She looks at me and she says, why do you do that? You don't get paid for it. I'm doing it because I get paid for it. But if I started doing it as a job where I get paid for it, I won't get that satisfaction out of it. Because then it's not going to be the way that I intended it to be. I'm doing it for the children. I want them to get to school. I've even started taking one particular girl for her swimming lessons. And that's got nothing to do with me. That's for her parents. But she was missing out on swimming lessons, and I took it upon myself that I'll take her and I'll make sure she goes for her swimming lessons.
God.
And, you know, I also realized that especially in the UK, parents are always so busy, work and, you know, taking over their time and everything, that they don't have time to, you know, come to meet the teachers, to find out how their children are doing at school and progressing. I started taking that upon myself to ask the teachers.
How do you plan to address that in a more organized way, though? There is a teaching that we normally do, we call organized righteousness, that you are more effective when you could build a system around your passion. So instead of you doing it by yourself, because soon you run out of resources, time, you will not have something to do it. So, but to build a system whereby all those questions are addressed, I think that's one of the things that, you know, this will help you to do.
And that's why I'm here. Yes, that's why I'm here.
But then I'm going to take you back. I'm going to take you back. You started talking by your husband, of your husband inviting you to listen to this message. So where you stop this, you listened, and then you began to discuss all your differences and what you were taught. Take it from there and make it systemic and point by point. Build it layer upon layer. Yeah, precept upon precept.
Yes, like I said, it was then discussed between the two of us that you know, we continued listening to you and started following.
So that was an informed
decision, yes. And it still took a bit of encouraging from my husband for me to still continue listening to you. And he would call me and say, Pastor Sunday is on, come and listen, let's watch.
Yeah,
And-
especially, I can imagine that you would do that, especially when you have 4 kids.
Yes.
And then you are still doing all these other things. So how are you finding time for it?
I don't know. I get asked this question every time. I just get on with it.
Because some people complain that they don't have time to listen, and they don't even have children.
Yes. So, yes, and
So you will listen like once a week or every day or once in 2 days a week or
yes,
wow.
I think at the time it was probably about 2-3 times a week,
Yes.
and I would also find time when I probably just sitting outside in the car, the school gate, waiting for the children to finish. Just put it on my phone and just catch up. So I would always just create time to just to listen and hear something, and especially the message on their self-sufficiency. It really touched home to me. It really made me want to make other women, other mothers see that it is so important for women not to come into marriage and call it settling down, because then they
Is there a way
literally...
to make it get to them so that they could also have some blessing? No, you've got to fix it. You know how to do it. You are okay?
They have the window.
Oh, okay. He's going this way. But I needed it. He is in the spirit.
So the self-sufficiency message to me was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because it made me realize that I was on the right track. I was doing something right, but I just needed to be appreciated for it and for me to continue doing what I had already been doing. And because...
But that is the message that affected you the most.
Yes.
And that is how it has changed you.
Yes.
Is there any way your husband has also been affected, maybe by the same message or other messages, or just your life as a family? What has
Yes.
changed about your life?
What has changed is we both realized that so many marriages, I guess even our marriage at a point was suffering from the fact that we didn't understand and know that the key elements that uphold a marriage is not just the man going out to work and the wife being at home and sitting down and taking care of the children, because I've never been like that. I would literally give birth and get back into work. I would be at work until 36 weeks, deliver the next week, and
go back to work.
And get up, and I'm doing school runs. And I was constantly always wanting to be a woman that
Fulfilled.
played an important role in her husband's life by constantly moving when he's moving and not just waiting for him to bring everything into the home. I felt that it made me more significant. It made me proud of myself.
More fulfilled. You are more fulfilled.
Yes,
Yeah.
I felt proud of myself that I'm able
To
contribute so much into my marriage. And it has helped my husband as well to appreciate me and my contributions, and to start now, he notices everything I do. Everything I do, he notices now.
Are you serious?
Yes. Everything I do, he notices now, and it's really just been amazing. The last 3 months, it's just been 3 months, but there's been such a great change in my household. There's been a great change, and I know we'll continue changing and finding new things to work on and strengthening our, we keep growing from strength
But
to
how
strength.
come you've just listened to somebody on YouTube or Facebook 3 months, and then you're living with your 4 children, and your husband is saying, go to a country you've never... How did you get to a place that I've got to go?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, that he's always been my backbone. He's always been the one, carrying me along, supporting me. And because I know for sure that he's always had it in him. He's always been the pillar of the family. He prays for us and he just stands strong for us. So when this opportunity came up for HMT, I actually initially had registered for him to come. I went online and I registered him to come. And he came back and said to me, no, I think you should go. I would love for you to go, to be the one to... And since I got here, I've not spoken to them. I only spoke to them very briefly through Anastasia's live chat, wishing my daughter a happy birthday. And I've not spoken to them because I am so confident
Focused, yeah.
in him taking care of the children. And that gives me such great relief because then my attention, my focus is here. I'm not worried
100%.
about... Yes, 100%. And he's not even called or texted me because he doesn't want...
To distract you.
distract me. So yes, that's what it's been. And having arrived here on Monday, yesterday, and going out to the different programs that were outlined for yesterday, it was such a great experience. It really opened up a new chapter in my life and understanding of that we don't need, we have so much in mind at the moment, my husband and I, of things that we would love to do, but we've been looking at the financial aspect of it, on how to get it off the ground. But with what I witnessed yesterday, I can't wait to get home to tell him that we don't need a huge capital to start what...
And we don't need to keep on waiting.
No, because I feel that the more we're waiting, time is just going. And I don't want God to pass me and give my purpose to somebody else who's ready to move because I'm waiting for the finances. I don't want that my purpose to be given to somebody else who's ready to move and at the instruction of God saying, go and do it. I'm ready to be obedient now, finances or no finances. And going out yesterday to the orphanage and seeing the great work that they've done and starting off by just bringing the children to their home, their personal home, giving them a bath, a meal to eat. I can do that. I know I can do that already. So that alone encouraged me, knowing that so it's possible to just start off as little as that. I don't need to start off by, finding a home where I will have to start buying a property or renting out a place. It can start in my house. If I really am ready and I say this is what God has asked me to do, then it has to start in my home. And I drew so much strength and from Sister Ofoma. She is a wonderful lady.
Role model.
Great role model in my life and my daughters' lives because my two daughters are actually part of her So just seeing the way she started already is an encouragement to know that I can also just start from nothing. And she started with only 5 girls. And it's growing. She has, and with the organizations we went into yesterday and seeing how they started from ground roots as well, that has really given me so much encouragement. And I know now that definitely I can start, my husband and I can start where we're at now and just grow from there.
Jesus said that the widow's mite, who had the smallest amount to give, but she gave everything, was the biggest giving. And he said, be faithful, the one who is faithful in little will be faithful in much. So we never, ever wait until we have more. We start now with what we have and give all, and God will add increase.
Amen. Now, Rabbi, right? We need, or is it you who's there, or is, yeah, you are there? No, you don't need to come. I'm looking at the HMT November. She doesn't need a microphone. I just needed to tell her something. I'm looking at the HMT here, 2016 and 2017. Not all of them have titles. I don't think she's finished. But let her keep the microphone. So I want to recommend something for her. But when maybe now or when you are having time, we need to give titles to all the HMT classes. Some of them are titled, like one of them is the most important principle to accomplish your goals. That's good. But then in some of them, it just says HMT 1, 2, 3. It needs title so that people could know what they are going into. Yeah, you understand? Yes. Yeah, we need to do that. But what I want you to do, now, HMT stage 1 is where I would normally teach about some of the things you need. But because we are now living in a information technology kind of, and we have some recordings of this, anything we have a recording of, I'm not going to repeat. So, for you to be efficient, first of all, let me just hug you. You are so, you are just so precious. The story you told, going to pick those kids, taking them to school, not having a car big enough, and going several trips, then taking that child to, I cannot but hug you. You must just know that heaven is hugging you. That Jesus wants to hug you right there. That God the Father wishes to hug you. My respect. So now let me give you these instruments, the key that you need. So I told you we have something we call organized righteousness. I don't think that is recorded yet, but let me just give you other things that I recorded, the messages that will help you here. We need to build systems. There is something we call system building, but it's not called like that. That's not it. We call it the key to resolving every problem or attaining every goal is actually here. So the key to resolving every problem or attaining any goal. But that's not the title of the series. The series is called HMT. 2016, 2017. Just go for HMT. Listen to everything, but what you particularly need is what I'm talking about right now. The key to resolving every problem. That is how to build systems. That is a message that will tell you on how to build systems.
In that message, there's slide presentations and everything. Everything's very clear.
Yes. Now, what would I like to? Okay, before I do that, let me give you another one. It's called the most important principle to accomplish your goal. That's another one that you really need. So I'm giving you concrete ones, but you need to listen to everything. But these are concrete ones that will help you, and they are in part. Some of them are in part 1, part 2. Yes. So now, what will I give to you right now? You've got your calling and purpose defined right there. Love for children. But that's broad. From that broadness, you've got to bring it down to helping children so that they don't struggle with the challenges. They don't have a carryover of the challenges of their homes and their parents. So if the parents of these children are busy, or they are working too much, or they don't care for them, children shouldn't be the ones to suffer for it. So you want to create an organization that is going to address that particular aspect of it. So, because your calling is always where your pain and your love clashes, interact. So you love the kids, but you hate what is being done to them. That's your calling. So what you are going to do is sit down, write that down like that, and then go and get a lawyer, or I think it's a lawyer, somebody who registers corporate, and explain to them in your own words like this, that this is, or if you cannot explain like that, get this video, give to the lawyer, is that that this is my passion, these are the kids I want to take care of, and children that are not yet adults, that cannot stand on their own yet, they are still as if they are still living under the roof of their parents and in their parents' homes, but they don't have the care that is needed. They are suffering, and then they become relics and problems to the society. So that is a very critical sphere right there. That's a very critical sphere that many people don't see, because they just assume that, but they have parents. But if you listen to the video series by testimony series by Anastasia McDonald, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. You will see the significance of how that ministry is so important. So register an organization. Call it anything you want to call it. Mother Teresa or Mother Denise or anything you want to call it. Let them give them your name. But it has to be a charity organization. And that charity organization has to remain charity organization, non-religious organization. Don't make a religious organization. And then what you will do after you register, that's the easiest part. To get the lawyer to register, that's easy. What you now do next is that you must go and make a list, or go to the computer and say schools, high schools or primary school, whatever you call them in your country. Schools in your vicinity, your borough or whatever you call it. Yeah, so start with your borough, where you live, or your vicinity, your area, and make a list of all the schools in that area. Let's say there are 15 or 20. You know the school where your children go to. You know the extracurricular activity they're involved in. You know the challenges you have seen. So make a list of challenges with parents, with children, with schools, with extracurricular activities and all that. And those problems, they become your offers, your solutions. You want to bring solutions to these problems.
Your platform.
They become your platform. You want to bring solutions to these problems that are in the society. So after making the list of those, because that is a system, it's better than just taking care of this person's kid, this person's kid. I'm talking about taking care and taking over the whole borough, the whole environment as your promised land. And a system, by building a system, you'll be able to address everybody at the same time, the same way, rather than just addressing that particular person. So then you write all the problems one by one, and then the next thing you do, let's say you say, kids getting late to classes, to school. You say, okay, you go and do research. How is this problem solved in other countries? You could discover that, okay, that is the suggestion we need to bring to the table for our council or wherever you go, your government. It's because we are going to get there. So, but you first of all have to bring your own suggestions on how they could be resolved. Either by suggesting that schools or parents, PTA, or schools or parents get a bus. What?
Carpooling.
That's another problem, right?
No, that's a solution.
It's a
solution.
Car what?
Carpooling.
Sharing the ride.
Yeah, okay. Carpooling is one. Buying a bus is another thing. But people will say, where you get the money? But that's not the problem. It's also about system. Let them be coming with the problems, but we will approach them, but one by one. So you make a whole list like that, and you go and do research on how similar problems have been solved within the country, within the city maybe, or even in other countries. Write those suggestions down and follow your heart. Listen to your spirit, what you think God is, you think telling you that this is what will work better for us, and make emphasis on that. So then you go through all the points. If there are 3 points or 20 points, just write that is how you write your whole program. That's how you develop your own concept. So then, once you do that, that is what will later on become your proposal. Because you have to write a proposal to the government. First of all, go and consult with the leadership of the school or with the headship of the school, whatever you call them. Yeah, the administration of the school, that's where you have better relationship, or with a teacher or with a head school or principal. And then go and tell them that I see all these problems. I've got some solutions. These are the things that I have come up with. Do you have some ideas? Let them contribute. Let them say what they think could be resolved and could be done about it. So improve your something. Then you could tell them, because you need a model, you need a prototype, you need to, this is how, you already have a prototype. This is how I resolve the problem. I resolved the problem already for 2-3 families or 3 people. If we multiply that, maybe some other people have empty, we could replicate it. Or you could say, if I get a bigger car, I'm not asking for it, but I could actually do more. But some people have already bigger cars, so that could be done. But maybe there is a budget in the borough, in the council, in the government. So but you have to start with the school, talking with the schools first. This school might refuse, but by the time you go through 10 schools, one will agree, and one will. So you need to create that model that way, that prototype, right? Then once you have one prototype, the way you resolve it personally, but if you could bring that higher at the way we resolve it on the school level, that brings it more authority. It might not happen in 1 month, but we are building our case until we do it. Then you are always talking. You must always talk about these things to people around you. Let your vision always come out. So then people will give you ideas. Some people will say, "Oh, I know what to do. Oh, that's what this." Let it be out there. It will be resounding back to you. And then you are going to the internet. You are writing what you are doing. You are sharing your story. People are coming to connect with you. That's the way to do it. Then you keep on going. Once you've done it on the level of a school, what you now, you already have the list of all the schools. Then what you now begin to do, you look for the government agency that is in charge, like Ministry of Education, that's for the whole country, but you have them in the local as well. So you go to their council or whatever that ministry department is, and you tell them, these are the things. I am a volunteer. I suggested this. I'm not looking for a job, but I'm a model. But they will be so grateful because they don't know what to do with it. And they don't even have an answer. And they don't have that heart because they have a job, but you have a calling. So,
and you don't go to the clerk. You don't go to a clerk and it stays on their desk. You make a request because this is from the kingdom of God for the head person to have a meeting with them.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine, Pastor, who's a Lord Mayor of Wolverhampton. And he tells me people don't come.
Take the microphone.
He said he looks for people with ideas to come. To make the city better, to make the council schools
But
better.
people are not coming.
But nobody's coming up. And he's got so many programs, so much money, just sitting there doing nothing. But people are not coming up with any ideas or to put them into that situation.
In this place, for example, we have to come up with the money. We have to do that. But what we are doing, I've had some of my disciples try to do something in England. Pastor Debo, for example, even the Queen invited him. The Prime Minister invited him. The Parliament invited him, just because he started doing a little bit of the thing he learned from here. So there, people want you to come forward. Here, they want to kill us for doing it. But there, they want to encourage you for doing it. So, but then another thing you want to do, you want to get in touch. After you finish with the council, you also want to, maybe before you go to the council, you want to tell the school authority or you in your own effort, to help you organize some parents. Or in your PTA meeting, do you call it PTA?
Yes.
Okay, you might want to tell them to give you a few 20 minutes, one or something to speak. You address all of them. Let them all come with their suggestion. So you say you already have an organization for this. Some of them will be willing to join your organization. That way, you are the leader, and your husband maybe, or you are the leader of the organization, and your husband, and those people, they become members of your council, of your organization, right there. And then you having meeting with them, you build strategy. Then later on, you begin to divide them. You are going to be in charge of the extracurricular activity of the children. So you are heading that department. And you are heading the department of late night to classes. And you are heading the department of them doing well in school. So you create departments in your organization. And it doesn't have to be registered yet, but just, then some people might be telling you, oh, you need specialists, or do you have the degree? Do you have, that's just what bureaucracy does. But you say, no problem, one of the parents has degree, or you go with them. You say, I don't have the degree, but she's a specialist. So you cover that, or everything could be resolved. Then some of the parents soon will begin to do what you are doing. And some of them might come with some better ideas, or might come up with money, or might come up with something. But right now, my priority is Africa. Even that, I cannot access my own money until I get out of here. But anybody that is kingdom focused in any country, and that is first of all changed through the kingdom teaching that is being renewed, you will not have any money problem again. Keep on listening to me. But I'm guaranteeing that to people in Nigeria, but at least if you are HMT family, that's what you could relax. Because you are changed. So that's not a big deal. But you must go through the process. What you need is not the money right now. What you need is to know what I know, what I'm telling you right now. Because if you don't know how to fix something, what do you need money for? But if you know how to fix it, you know the keys, you know the principles, then you know what to use the money for. I don't know if you get it.
I want to share a very brief testimony to help you see the power of what he's saying about building a system. Is everybody with me? I went to Peru in May. I'd never been there before. And a lot of stuff happened. I led different people to the Lord, the head of the Freemasons for the country, former vice president, et cetera, a lot of good stuff. But that's not what I want to tell you about. Because I am exposed to Pastor Sunday's teaching, I wrote out a system of how Peru could become I wrote out a system in detail with numbers about how Peru could become an organic nation. Listen, please. Because I wrote that vision out clearly, God organized within 1 week that I sat with the people from the government, met the president of the region, met 8 governors, and sat with the head of the Organic Farmers Association of Peru, 15,000 farmers. And after just 1 week, I'd never met them before, they offered me 100,000 acres they will plant.
Glory to God.
And the same will happen in Nigeria. See, that's going to be my laboratory, and we're going to bring it to Nigeria and Israel and other nations. But do you hear what I'm saying? They offered me, officially, I have it on documents, 100,000 acres. And what they're saying is, please find somebody, Rory, who will go to Whole Foods and Trader Vic's and the other organic supermarkets around the world, in Japan, in America, in these different markets, find out what crops they want us to plant, and find some righteous people who will do the trading for us, because we keep getting ripped off. So I have the contract, 100,000 acres, and while I was there during a week, I went to visit Machu Picchu as a tourist, and God set up a divine appointment with the head general manager for their biggest hotel in all of Peru, and he said, when you have this set up, Rory, I will come and be the general manager for it from Peru's side. I will resign my job and work with this. So all we're waiting for now is to find the right person who is already working in international export, who lives in humility, following his systems, his instruction, because I won't work with anybody less than that anymore. And when we have that person, you will instantly become a multi-millionaire, because each one of these acres yields 4,000 kilos of the average crops, like black quinoa or something. You sell that at $10. How much is that? That's $40,000 per kilo. But we're talking about tons of kilos. That's 40,000 times 1,000. That's $40 million per acre. And they can do 2 crops per year. That's $80 million a year. And that's talking about 1 acre. Multiply that by 10,000, it becomes $80 billion, $800 billion. It's so big, we can't even get it unless you are called to this. Please, pay attention to what he's saying. I'm supporting him about start with whatever you have. I had nothing when I went to Peru. I promise you. I didn't even have enough money for the plane ticket. But I went in faith, and look what God does.
Thank you. So where did I stop? Build a system, right? Build a system. So by the time you are with the parents, things will begin to come up more, and God will begin to send the right people to you. So, but if you listen to some of those teachings, they will also help you more. They'll help you. Well, I thought Mrs. Soruka was going to be the next one, but maybe you need to comment before she comes back. What I'm saying about system, do you seem to get it?
Yes, I do. And I think as you were explaining each point and outlining everything that I should look into, I was already picturing it in my head, who to speak to. I am the school governor in my children's school.
Wow.
I'm the school governor, and so already there, without me even realizing it, I've already got the platform to bring this to the school and say to them, this is what I have in mind, and what role can the school play in what I am bringing to them. So I will definitely be making great use of that, and I believe that I've definitely got the key elements outlined, and I know what to do, and I just pray that the Lord will guide me and lead me to the right people, that the people I speak to will hear me and will grant me favor.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
But so when you hear Rory yesterday speak about don't just do one thing,
Yes.
what he's actually trying to say is that don't just use all your effort to bring one fruit in, one result.
Actually, having saying that, that did come to mind as well, because at the moment, all my 4 children are going to 3 different schools.
Ooh.
So I don't have them in one school. So I've got 3
Beautiful.
different schools
Beautiful.
that I have the same problem in. And
wow.
so,
Just before
yes.
before your eyes. Madam, you wanted to say something, sir? Ma? Resources at the feet. Yeah.
Yes, I know. It's funny. You don't realize that all these things are already, right in front of you. But now as I'm here, everything is just revealing itself. I'm a school governor. I've got the platform. I'm a mother in 3 different schools.
Wow.
So I have a lot of work
God has
on my
set
hands.
you up. God has set you up for this.
When Dennis first told me what she was doing, I never could imagine a ministry in that.
A ministry?
Yeah, that could be a ministry.
Yeah, that's what system does.
I never could imagine, but listening just now, I realized on Facebook, I saw a mom had a post, and it broke my heart because I know this lady. She has a special needs child like me, and I think there was a crisis in the family. And she said, I need somebody to take my child to school this morning. I know she's far from me, and my heart broke. I said, oh, I'm sure Jamie is in hospital, and she needs somebody to take. And now I just realized that that is a solution.
Amen.
And that can be a ministry, because some people actually wake up in the morning and they can't take their children from school and there is nobody to help. Just this last week, Jude Bell, she just put it out there. She put it out there. I need somebody. I think she needed it for the 3 days because she kept coming back. She needed it for the 3 days of that week.
You see,
And then when you were telling me, it didn't look like anything to me, but now.
you see, that is why it is a crime. Sister Unfuma, now you understand better why it is a crime to hold anybody in the pulpit. I mean, in the pew of the church.
Amen.
Because we think that normally the problems in the society are just two for alcoholism, drug addiction, and poverty, that's all. But there are prostitution and things. But there are so many little different things, complex, that's why we are so, God is getting people saved. Every single one of us, even if there are 100 people in your church who said they have burden for children, 100 people, all of them have different 100 different directions that we don't even know exist. Every person in a church is supposed to be responsible for one problem in the society. There is no human being that God saved. In fact, he says, I brought you out of Egypt so that I might bring you into your promised land. There is a promised land for everybody that is delivered from Egypt. If you are delivered from Egypt, the Egypt of sin, of your past, it is only for one purpose, not just to go to heaven. Heaven is, you're already saved. When you are saved, you're already in heaven. But why are you still left on earth? So that you might come into one promised land. And what do they do in promised land? So that you might raise an altar and bring the glory of God to that sphere of life and restore that particular sphere of life to the Lord. And, bring the presence of God, solutions of God there. So even as I didn't even know there could be a whole ministry too for that, just for people coming late or people to take their kids to. But you see, God gave her that burden. How? And that's why it's so easy. Your calling is inside the hall. He's somewhere there, and you know I might not even know he exists, but it's in your heart. Nobody's talking about it, and you are just wondering, why is nobody saying it? But that is you. So that's why HMT is here, to package it into a system, to see it in a broader way, and to be able to, help you. Because the instruction I just gave her about how to break it down, to do all that is an instruction to every one of you. Yes. But even though you are having your own ministry, but the idea of system, how to approach it. Yes, sir.
Sir, I don't want to forget this. I'm sorry to interject, but, excuse me. I'm just relaxed. My IT idea just kicked in as she spoke. So you're going to design a voucher system. It will be funded by multiple organizations, the government, donor agencies. There will be a big pocket of funds for that. Then it will employ so many people. It will be linked to an Uber system. So that a parent like that, if you have a 3-day of maybe marriage issue, emotional issue, or whatever you're going through, you can go online the night before, go online and request a ride to pick up your children. It will be a service that is organized, funded by that pot. The local government, the federal government, donor agencies, you have that big pot, and then there'll be continuous awareness to create funds that comes into that big pocket. Now, there'll be a hotline people can call in situations like that. I can't make it to school enough. I have so much going on, or I lost my job or something. I'm just not emotionally there. You go online, you can order it for 2 weeks. It might not be something permanent, because there'll also be a program to train the parents to deal with whatever they are working through. Part of that funds would be a counseling system for the parents to get back on their feet, because ultimately they have to be responsible for their children. So it would be like a bridge between parents who are constantly missing school and also parents who perpetually want to do that. So it would be a check and balance system. You can go online, order the voucher. It can even be instant. You go online and order it immediately, and Uber will arrive. And then the people that are going to be certified to come and pick up your children will be trained, certified to specially handle your children. If it's a special need child, there will be a special need person that is kicked into the system so that it will be automated. It's not a human being that will be dispatched. You just go online, fill in a little form. As you fill in that form, it creates a ticket, and the ticket goes to a help center that orders the ride for you, calls you immediately, or sends you a text message, sends you an email confirmation. You click and validate that it's a person and not a robot, and then the van is dispatched. The car is dispatched to pick up your children and drop them at the appropriate time. So it will be a bridge. So we can say the maximum you can take that service within a month is 2 weeks or 1 week, based off of the funds that is available. So that way, the system is designed as an automated system. You don't have to be there. You have people in a call center that are designed to see those tickets coming in, and they'll be coming in from different county. You can start with one county, perfect the program, tweak it a little bit. And if you need help, I'll be there all the way to support you, going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Pastor wanted to say something.
I just wanted to say that a lot of councils in England are very kind people.
Yes.
Especially in England, people are very kind. That is why England is in all this trouble with the refugee crisis and everything, because of their kindness, because they have allowed everybody to come in. Now they are getting to the other side, which is not good. But what I'm saying is, let not that kindness die out. If you bring them proper projects, they will help, because they are being taken advantage of by the wrong people for the wrong purposes. People are just living off welfare in England. People who make so much money off business, who never report their income. So the same thing goes in America. A lot of people live as individuals, as single, when they are actually married. But they are divorced technically, so they get help from both sides. So a lot of people are siphoning funds, abusing the system. But when you put in a proper request, there are funds there, and they will be very happy to see that they are being used in the right way.
Yes.
I believe it can be done. You're right, absolutely.
So Stephen is giving an example that, based on what Pastor said about government funding. You also provided another solution that could be government funded, but it could also be that people give what they can contribute. Now, I lost almost everybody in the room before when I said the number 800 billion. Be honest. Raise your hand if you checked out when I said that number. Come on, raise your hand, please. Yes? Come on. It's only because we're not thinking kingdom. Because the reason I went to Peru is because my friend called me, could you please come, Rory? People are starving to death. The farmers are starving to death. They can't get their product to market. Now, those 100,000 acres will yield reasonably, conservatively, $8 billion a year. We just need somebody to work on it. And they have 100 times that much property available. They have 10 million acres that are able to be made into agriculture. Right now, if you follow the world news, if you care about people like he does, I do too. If you follow the world news, you'll find out Peru, there's 30,000 people who have no home anymore. There's flooding that's just wiping them out. They called me this week twice and wrote me 4 emails asking for help.
But we don't want to lose the focus, though,
I'm
from
sorry.
Denise.
But the reason I'm mentioning this is because every issue, God will not only make us the solution, but when we follow the system, put together a system, he'll open the door that we can be the solution. And he will provide the financing.
And anybody that is watching us on Facebook, my appeal to you guys, and appeal is for you to go and share the link. Let's share the video. Let other people get an opportunity to learn from some of this wisdom, because all of us, we need to build a system. Both those who are here and those who are not here, we all need to build a system moving forward. No matter what passion you have, we must learn. That's what HMT does for you. You must learn to package your passion. You must learn to build a system around your calling. Otherwise, you just have emotions. And you run around all through. I used to run around the world from one pulpit to the other, one country to the other, until I almost broke down. Thank God I had a church to fall back to. But you will just run up and down, collapse because you don't have a system. You don't have a structure. So that's what HMT is all about. Your passion must be put in a system, in a passion. I mean, in a package. So this is about packaging right here. And like those people you went to see, all those programs you went to see here, they are already packaged. So they are presentable. They could be sold. And so before I let you go, again, I want you to round up, because you didn't come for the weekend, so you missed out on the anniversary, but you had Monday. So what you only made a few sentences about Monday. So what is it? What are those things that yesterday gave you?
Like I mentioned earlier, that just seeing where the orphanage started from.
Okay.
The girls started from nothing. They were in their own personal homes. They were going out, bringing these children in to their personal homes.
So that means anybody can start from where they are.
Where they are.
So resources shouldn't be a limitation.
Yes.
Nothing should stop us from starting out by faith, believing God for what He's called us to do. And that is a lesson right there, okay?
Yes. And I believe that personally that's what I've been doing, and just knowing that I'm in the thing is, you don't even realize what you're doing, and how big it can be if you just put it into structure. Because actually last year I had a parent in my daughter's school. She was diagnosed with cancer, and she had to go in for chemo, and this was not going to allow her physically to be able to bring her daughter to school for 3 months. And
I'm sorry, as you are saying that, there is a picture that came to me right now. What you are doing, you need to go and talk to television station. Maybe not you, maybe somebody on your behalf, that a mother that sees that other children come late to school is taking her kids, going back to take other kids, and nobody is paying her for it. And we need to have a video documentary about that. Or we need to have a television station come from one of the television stations in your country to shoot that and put it in the television. When that goes nationwide,
The BBC loves these stories. They look for them.
but you will know when you are ready.
yes, at that time, honestly, she's a parent that I don't even know. We don't know ourselves personally. It's just a parent that, just good morning, and everybody goes on their way. I overheard her speaking to another parent saying that she has been in touch with the council, and they said they cannot help her. She has been in touch with the school. Nothing can be done. And where she lives Plumstead, probably about 15 minutes from the school, drive-wise, and that all her family and friends, people that could help her, are on the other side of town, so nobody can actually bring her child down to the other end. I didn't even know when I said I'll do it. I was leaving home at 8 a.m. to drive all the way to their house, pick up the daughter, bring her back to school.
What a
pick up
kingdom
my
lady.
daughters and take them to
What a
school
kingdom
for
lady.
3 months. And this relieved her to go for chemo, come back, sleep, because she just didn't have the physical strength to do that. And
You are going to be so hugely rewarded.
amen.
I'm glad that I got to meet you.
And when you were speaking about, people being equipped and if it's a special needs child, I actually work.
When you get back home, I have an assignment for you.
Okay.
When you get back home, go look for a bus for me. What is the bus that will best serve you, or a car? but a van kind of car.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So what is the car? How much is it going to cost? You know, and send back to me, please.
Pastor, I've got something off my chest that I've got to get it out.
Yes, please.
I'll be leaving today.
Today or tomorrow?
Today, Pastor, unfortunately. I'm just kind of sucked into this thing now. You know, you give me a taste of it, and now I'm high. I'm high, and I would like to bring my leadership here sometime from America. You know, there's something you have to offer. There's something you have to offer the world. You know, churches don't talk like this. Churches talk about third heaven, but they don't talk about.
He knows what he's talking about. This man has been all over the world. He's seen it all.
I mean, I've spoken
Yes,
at the
yes.
House of Commons, at the House of Lords, and at the UN, and all those places, and I have seen that churches talk about just great things, but we never get down to the dirt level, where the rubber meets the road, where people are in pain. And here I see it not only being discussed freely, but being addressed. Not only we are talking about it, but you know, pastor is saying, okay, I'm going to help you. I'm going to stand for you. Find me a bus, you know, those kind of things. And that brings hope to a light that is just barely, a candle that is barely burning. It brings hope to your vision, to your passion. And I'm just encouraging you to let your you know, just protect your vision. Don't let it die. Cover it with both hands. You know, pray over it. Let it live inside of your heart. It doesn't matter what happens on the outside, because God is with you. And for such a time as this, God has brought you here so that you. I remember when African students came 1985 to India, nobody wanted them. It was like a spiritual apartheid, you know, in India. Nobody wanted them. They wanted them in the pews, but not in the pulpit. And at that time, I was preaching 40 crusades a year, almost every out of 52 weeks in a year. Every week, I was seeing like 20, 30, 40, 50, 100,000 people, new faces. And that's how they started coming after me to take my life and to hurt me. But I can't say a whole lot right now. But what I'm saying is at that time, I decided that I'm going to stand with the students rather than the churches. And I told the churches, look, I said, if you don't want them in the pulpit, you just want them in the pews, you just want their offerings, but you don't want to release their gifting, I'm not with you. And we are going to start churches, fellowships with students all over India, with African students who didn't know the language, they didn't know how to preach, they didn't know anything, they didn't know the culture, but they knew Jesus. And coming into India, especially from countries like Nigeria, where at that time in 80s, the government was corrupt. It was a military, politically corrupt government. And the money would not come for months. I remember my wife would be sending every week students into the house of students. And we did that with all the pastors in India that we knew and we were connected with. Go and check if they had food in the house.
Wow.
Because some of these students had not eaten 3, 4, 5 days. And they were sitting there and their fees was not paid. And so we just kind of created a network with our limited resources to send food first, priority. Second, if possible, give them money for petrol. And third, if possible, collect enough money to pay their fees. And then they believe the rest. So some of those students, I want to tell you, like one of them has 10,000 members in Nairobi. He's a pastor of a 10,000 member church. Several of them have 5,000, 10,000 member churches. And all over the world, they have spread out. They are leaders. They're shining for God. I mean, they are diplomats. They are ambassadors of nations, to nations. It only happened because somebody was willing to
Yes.
make their hand dirty.
Yes.
You know, I believe it's all about making our hands dirty.
Aye.
Why should I stick my neck out? Why should I get myself in trouble? You know, here you're being taught, I believe, something, that Jesus, if he was here, he would just stand here and weep. And he would say, this is my heart. This is my heart. While we stand next to the blind man and say, whose fault is it? Why was he born blind? Who has sinned? That's what the church is doing. We stand near that blind man. Who has sinned? He has sinned, his father has sinned. And we get into those religious debates and dialogues instead of touching him, picking him up, and raising him up.
Yes.
Who has sinned? That's all we are doing in the church. And I believe God is calling us to get up and get our hands dirty and set the prisoners free. I believe the first question, that blind man must have asked is, have you seen a man with dirty fingers? Have you seen a man? John chapter 9. Have you seen a man with dirty fingers? So what do you mean dirty fingers? Because I didn't see him when he healed me. But he took clay and he took spittle. He spat on the clay and he put it in my eyes. Surely his fingers must be dirty.
That is an apostolic word right there. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. And I think it's a word to you also, Denise, because you never know what those kids will become tomorrow. And because you are offering them service, God is going to open the door for you to be able to offer them life as well. Life eternal, the truth of the kingdom. And then they are going to become such, like we have just heard, the ambassadors, great men and women of God, just because somebody cared. Somebody wanted to get their fingers dirty. Beautiful, beautiful. You okay? You want to add anything?
No, I'm just
Overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed with everything, and everything is playing out in my head. I can't wait to get back. I can't wait to go back and start putting everything that I'm going to gain and learn and hear in the next couple of days. And I'm so ready. I know I've been ready. I've just been sleeping. I've been awake, but I've been sleeping. I've not been paying attention. I've been doing it, but not really doing it subconsciously.
Constructively.
Thank you so much. I'm truly, truly honored and so blessed.
But I'm happy for you because now you don't have to use all your energy just fighting with your husband if you are right or she is right. But all that energy could now be used and be directed to serve the purposes of God. And now it's going to be structured, it's going to be packaged. You are going to be a history maker in the land. I think Mrs. Chorunke will be the next person. We will need you to come here, if you don't mind. Or you need to sit as well? Oh, okay.
Well, hello everybody.
She's from my village.
Yes.
Only we didn't get to know each other. We got to know each other through the internet.
Yes.
But I knew her family. Prominent family.
I'm not a very loud, emotional person consistently, but I'm just so excited to have the opportunity to be here. I have been to 3 HMTs.
Can you
and-
believe it?
Yeah.
In 1 year.
And
Within a period of 1 year, she's been into 3 HMT here. From California. From California.
And I tell you, my first meeting with Pastor Sunday online was a very interesting one. And it was my last day at my church for some reason. Well, we all know the reason. And I was at church, and my preacher was talking about the Spirit of God doesn't speak loudly. He's very calm and cool, and you could actually miss the Holy Spirit telling you something. You could easily overlook what the Holy Spirit is saying. So he was saying, this week, try to pay attention to what the Holy Spirit tells you to do and do it. That's the important thing, do it. So, of course, I got the message. I went home, and I was watching some of Pastor Sunday's videos. And on one of them, this was when you would have answering the questions, when Pastor Sunday was answering questions in the beginning. And he just came out and just said, oh, by the way, if any of you want to help us in our ministry, you want to volunteer with something. And I looked at him and I said to myself, well, I'm all the way in America. What help could I do? I mean, I'd love to volunteer, but I'm not in Ukraine. And then something just said, well, just write that you want to, volunteer. I never did it in 3 weeks. I didn't do it. And then at one time, I just heard the Spirit of God just say, you know what? It's not too late. You could still get in contact with him. So actually, as I have learned now, that when I did get in contact with him, I was not conscious. I was just writing. I just, if you ask me what I wrote, I have no idea what I wrote.
I see.
But I just wanted to do it so I could fill my assignment. I could, I've done the assignment, Lord. Thank you.
And now it's good that, now some people might still not know the importance of that little phrase that she used there. I did it, but I was not conscious. Now, let me tell you about that. I've not written that book yet, but I'm going to write it. You are only alive when you are doing something consciously. Every other minute of your life, when you are not conscious, even though you are not sleeping, even though you are writing letters, you are giving birth, you are getting married, you are going to work like a machine, but you are living by instinct. And you are not doing things consciously, it's as good as you are sleeping. It's as good as you are not alive. Your life is counted only in the things you do consciously. It's just like saying, you are listening to me now, even though your eyes are open, and you are looking at me and you are blinking, and you are even saying, yes, hallelujah, I mean, hi. But you are not consciously here. By the time you get up, you are gone. You forget it. Everything is lost. You are not alive when you are not conscious. You are only, okay, let's say we have 24 hours in a day. You are only alive maybe for 1 hour. You did things consciously, intentionally, only maybe for 1 hour in a day. You only lived 1 hour in that day. All others, you just wasted your life. So for her to use that statement, he is very loaded. And I have some teachings on this already in my Facebook, I don't know what series is that. But you all need to go through all these series. Sunday Adelaja Official. I have over 1,000 materials there. And these are series upon series on YouTube, free of charge, where I've spoken about these things. So it's been in the here and now. That's what it's called. How to be in the here and now. So she wrote a letter, but thank God she was now dealing with somebody who is conscious. Because I saw the letter, the note, the message, and I took it serious consciously. And let me tell you what I did. Because I didn't know her, I never heard about her, I never knew she existed, I didn't even know who wrote me. I was just going through my Facebook. She didn't even know where she wrote me to. She didn't even write me a letter.
See, I was not conscious.
It was not the letter she wrote. She just wrote in the message to Facebook message. Who goes to Facebook message, especially when you have 1 million people there like me? So, but because I want to be responsible to myself and to God, I always go there once in a while to check.
Wow.
So just read through. Maybe there is anybody in need, or maybe there is somebody in crisis, or maybe there's something I needed to respond to. So I saw this lady, and she just writing many thousands all the time. If I open it now, you see thousands, hundreds of people writing. And so just say, oh, I heard that you know, I just feel like something I want to talk to you. You know, you wanted to have somebody. I read some magazine about you and something. I just thought I should get in touch with you. So, but she didn't say what she wanted to get in touch with me for. I said, okay, this lady that said she wants to get in touch with me, is she a woman? I didn't even know if she's a girl or she's a woman. And I didn't know she wants to get in touch with me. So in my own mind, I'm thinking, supposing she has a serious need. If I just pass by her now, who knows? Maybe I'm her last hope. Maybe there is something I need to address. What happened later on?
Well, as you can see, I definitely was not conscious because I was on Facebook. I wasn't even aware of that. I was just trying to say, okay, let me just do my righteousness here so the Holy Spirit can just, leave me alone on that issue. But what happened was that was the Sunday I was going to church, and I just saw something came up from him that said, wow, can you Skype me? Can we get in contact by Skype? So when I saw that, I told my husband.
So I'm the one who wrote. I didn't give it to the secretary because you people must know that as a leader, I have secretaries, I have assistants. Like I have people could just have delegated that to somebody. Let's go and just do that. But she said she wants to get in touch with me. She just felt like getting in touch with me. And people don't normally tell me that I just want to get in touch. No, but they normally come with a need. But she said she just wants to contact me. I said, wow, why not? Let me give you my Skype or send you your Skype to me. I didn't even know who I'm talking to.
So I was heading to church with my husband. I saw it and I told my husband, I said, this thing looks like it comes from Pastor Sunday, but it's an imposter. I bet you it's an imposter. It cannot be Pastor Sunday. No way. It's an imposter. So me and my husband just laughed it away. My husband said, when we get back, we'll follow up and find out. So we headed to church, came back. By the time I came back from church, there was another message from Pastor Sunday. And the message was the one that really got me going. He said, I lost you already? I was like, what? And so I had to get in contact with him. And so anyway, got on Skype.
Because I was being led by the Spirit, you see. I picked it up. I picked it up in the Spirit that they were thinking that was an imposter. I picked it up in the Spirit. Wow. She never replied to me. And it was the same day, but I could hear in this, because I have no word of knowledge, word of wisdom, so I could pick it up in the Spirit what she was thinking.
And how would he have time to read her thing? It's because of the discipline you're learning in your HMT. Wow. That's why he can read hundreds and thousands of emails and messages, because he's learned to discipline himself for the sake of the kingdom.
Bless God. So we got back and went on Skype, and who did I see? Laughing his head off.
Because she was still not sure I was the one. Even though she did it, but she was still not sure what she was going to see.
And I saw him. He was laughing his head off, and he said to me, no, at that time I knew it was him, because that laughter, I just saw that compassionate whole laughter that I could recognize. And he was laughing, and he said to me, your husband must be an Ijebu. That is where we're from. It's called Ijebu. And I laughed back. I said, Pastor Sunday, you are speaking to the Ijebu woman. My husband is not Ijebu. And right from that point, that's where we connected.
Then I got to know that we're from the same area. Not even her husband, but she. And that I knew her family, but I didn't even know because she has changed her name. Yes. Because she married.
And one of the things that Pastor Sunday said, he said, well, when I used to pass by that house was yellow. And my husband laughed and said, you need to pass by it now. It's still yellow.
That was 40 years ago. I used to, you're yellow like this. I used to walk by my feet past their house, carrying my firewood and my ogi, they call it, pap, custard pap, corn custard.
Amazing. Well, that is how we met.
But they had a big fence. Big fence. I couldn't see what was going on in that house. I couldn't even go to sell my custard to them because this was a prestigious house on another level. People like me, barefooted, no shoes, even though they might be eating my custard there, but they don't buy from people like me.
What's custard?
Corn custard. Corn custard. So they don't buy people like we don't parade those kind of places. We just go by so that the dogs don't respectfully, so that nobody notices that we're passing by.
So right there and then, that is how we connected. Amen. And I think you spoke at first for 35 minutes, and then you called back later on that evening again.
I wanted to introduce you to my kids. And
yes, I had the wonderful opportunity to be introduced to his children. It was just beautiful. And so that's how me and my husband connected. Now, January 2016, I called him, I think maybe around March or February. But January 2015, I and my husband's life changed forever. My husband woke up in the morning and he was leaping, and apparently by the time I took him to the hospital, they found that he had a stroke, a serious stroke, paralyzed on one side. And I remember sitting down in the hospital, and the coldest chill came to me, and the warmest comfort came to me right after. And the doctor walked in and said, where the stroke has happened is a place we never, ever want it to happen. And that's where it is. And so my husband looked at me and he said, this is a new chapter in my life. He said, we're getting out of this situation. God wants to say something to me, and it must be very serious. So anyway, bless God. The end of the story is that my husband is up on his 2 feet. He is not paralyzed anymore.
Amen.
After that stroke, he came to Ukraine.
Yes. He came to Ukraine. It's just one miracle or another.
Yeah.
Yes.
He didn't allow the stroke to stop him. He came twice in a year with the stroke or no stroke.
Yeah. And when we came, the doctor told him, get yourself a walking stick. But yet, that's why we need each other as children of God in our professions. The first thing God told me to do is get all the Christian doctors, physical therapists. So I had counsel from people that knew God on how to help my husband in his situation. And the physical therapist that God had just appointed her to be so warned us and said, whatever you do, do not get a walking stick. Because once you start using a walking stick, you will not be able to balance properly on your 2 feet. But when we were heading to Ukraine, the doctor insisted that he gets a walking stick. And my husband kept saying, don't worry about it, we'll get it, don't worry. Until the day we were going, he says, before we get to the airport, let's stop by, we'll go get one. Got to the store, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. In America, they don't close. Which store closes at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in America? I mean, at least they open till 6 o'clock. Got there, the shop was closed. So there it was. My husband was coming to Ukraine with no walking stick. Oh, Lord. I said to myself, what kind of wife am I bringing my husband? But then again, I will tell you, from that trip, because you invited us. Actually, Pastor Sunday invited us to come on down. That my husband should get another environment, relax, and that kind of thing. So we came down. Do you know, well, Pastor Sunday, you were a witness because you saw him. If you see the way that my husband, you could tell that he was just using this faith and this tremendous strength to hold it through the whole program.
And he never missed the program.
Never.
HMT, intensive like this.
Never. So anyway, after that, I wanted to talk about my first HMT. I had no idea. Some of you, this is your first time. I didn't know what to expect. But one thing I was sure was that whatever we were going to get was going to change our lives forever. just knew it. Sat down, I had made up my mind that the way that I've been blessed by Pastor Sunday before I ever got to talk to him, the way that he has strengthened my faith, the way that he has opened up my ignorance and brought light into religiousness that I had adopted in my Christian life, I knew that if I sat down here, I was actually going to partake of some real meat of who God is and what he wants us to do. In my first HMT, believe it or not, one of the things that stuck with me is this organized righteousness. You just don't know how happy I was. One of our frustration, me and my husband, is organization with Christian events, with Christian things. Everybody is so busy doing everything, and then they want to quickly put a seminar together, and they quickly want to put a Bible study together, and they quickly want to do a prayer meeting together, and it doesn't work.
Wow.
They quickly want to put a wedding together. They quickly want to, and we're like, wait, where is the plan? Why aren't we planning this thing since last year? Last year we put it on the calendar so we can start telling people, put this on your calendar for next year. They think that we're talking rubbish. And in my heart, and my husband's heart, we felt that this is the way that Christianity is supposed to be, but we had nobody to tell us that maybe we were right. But when we met Pastor Sunday, and at that HT, that's the one he wants you to look at, the HMT 2016, he talked about systems, building systems. I had tons of ideas, and all it was an idea written on a sheet of paper, a one-liner, two-liner, a few things on top, and that was just it. How I'm going to take it to the next level, I had no idea. And when he started on building systems, I saw the benefit of system building for the body of Christ and for the societies that we want to help and for the nations that we are reaching. We need to have systems. And where I really saw the system work first was at the rehab center. When we got to the rehab center, there is a manual, some of you will remember, that they tell you that when you come, it tells you everything. It just tells you everything to do. The schedule of the day, the schedule of the whole thing. And to my surprise, I heard one of the pastors say that even if they had to call somebody in to come help, they didn't even really need to do much except for hand that manual to that person, and it will still function. And I said to my God,
System.
Just as you were just saying now, Pastor Sunday, that instead of my sister doing the run around, you have the passion, you're doing it. And as time goes on, you want to say, gosh, I wish I could help so many more.
Yeah.
So that system that he's talking about now allows you to tap into other people who have the same vision. So your desire would now be fulfilled by other people who have the same desire that you have. And then you'll be able to reach more people in their situation.
Right.
And when I saw that was what system building was all about, it just blew my mind away that the church will have an opportunity to be respected. I'm sorry. To be respected. And when we, the body of Christ, are respected, the world will respect God.
Yeah.
They have, The world has an idea at the back of their head that we're not revealing God the way he really is. They have a little sense. And the way we have been living as if we have no direction, we have no guidance, we don't have a clue, that is why we can't minister to them. There's nothing that they can take and say, whoa, we'll give millions for this. You see, at that time, your Christianity is not, they're not even looking at your Christianity. If you tell them, God gave me this idea, they're going to say, wonderful, great God you serve. How much is this idea? Now it's not a problem who you serve. Now God is not the issue. They are now witnessing something tangible that blows their mind. And God promised us that he's going to, all the sealed knowledge given to Daniel has been promised that he will unreveal them for us. So what we are going to have will be things that the world has never seen or ever heard of. And they're going to be in need of it in desperation. And why they think that they're so much in need of what we have tangibly, they will realize that we actually have the true life in us. And they would desire more
That's right.
that true life. Some may even try to offer to buy it from you. And that's when we can have the big mouth to tell them, oh no, it's free. I received it freely, and I will show you how to get it freely.
Amen. I will show you. I will show you.
When I came to my second HMT, oh my gosh. One of the workshops was on the books, University of Life books. I think some of you have been hearing about it. And so there was a workshop.
Just for the sake of people watching here,
Yeah.
I want to say we have the books, but these are paper books, but they're also on Amazon. So these are my latest books. One is Stop Working for Uncle Samoy. I don't know what this book would do. I believe that this book is probably the most important book that has ever been written for the 20th century, 21st century. I don't think there is going to be any more important book than this book for the next 100 years. Hallelujah. This book here. Stop Working for Uncle Sam. So it's on Amazon, both electronic and paper book.
Yes.
Then, how to build your financial future. Who doesn't want that? It's also here and on Amazon as well. And then this is what we're dealing with HMT, the mountain of ignorance. You see what I just told you about being conscious? That's about it. People don't know. It's just ignorant, but a lot of many ignorance like that. This book will just deliver you. And of course, I have some of my other books here. Insulted by Ungodliness. This is if you lack passion and fire. This will put so much fire in you. In fact, everybody that have read this book, they have said they couldn't finish it. They read it halfway and they say, well, I'm ready to go. I don't need to finish it. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to fly. That's Insulted by Ungodliness. Then, of course, I have this book that I wrote about my late brother, Dr. Miles Monroe. You know, why should finding answers to why good people die tragic and early death. This making sense of tragedies to Christians. Of course, Church Shift is my flag bearer. Yeah, it's my flag bearer. It's my ship bearer, what do you call it? Is it? Flagship. So it's my first book in English, that I wrote. So it's a classic now. Another classic here is Money Won't Make You Rich. Yeah, so if you don't know it, you need to get it. And then Kingdom Driven Life. This is what people said is probably the top 3 books that has ever been written and the best book that has been written in the last 1,000 years on the kingdom of God. Then for Nigerians, I have a book here called Nigeria, How to Solve the Leadership Problem. Not just in Nigeria, but I'm using Nigeria as the basic for any country. Then I have another book that is called Only God Can Save Nigeria. What a myth. It's not just only God can save Nigeria. We can do something about it.
Yes. So that workshop, I would be honest and I would confess, I was sleeping in the beginning of that workshop. But I woke up when the lady that was talking about setting up libraries, because what they do is that they get these books and they go to different places, maybe coffee shops or different places, and offer them to rent the books so that maybe their customers can come in and read, or just individually their friends can come and just take the book for a small amount, go read it, bring it back.
They have 2,000 spots where they have libraries of Pastor Sunday's books in this country. 2,000 places.
And so I woke up. I mean, that got me, especially now that we have so many of them in English, because most of those books were in Russian, so that would be challenging for us. But now that he's written them in English, And as God will have it, the lady that was doing the presentation, she spent about an hour with me explaining to me how to get Pastor Sunday's books into the hands of people. And that really had an impact on me. So at that time, in my heart, I had said, I'm going back to draw some kind of plan on how I can get Pastor Sunday's messages of the kingdom from his books into the hand of all the people in my area as a start. But really, what I wanted to do also was to actually train people for us to read the book, for the book to be us, for us to be the life of that book.
Yes.
Not just that we read it, but it becomes us. So when we are sharing the book, people would see in us that the book, the words of the kingdom, the principles of the kingdom in that book is life unto us. That was my ideology. But this is what God did. So here I come back from Ukraine. I've been here twice. People are beginning to ask me, have I relocated to Ukraine? What is going on over there? Isn't there a war out there? There's no Nigerians that live over there. Who did I go see? And I mean, these are just different questions. And so as time went on,
Another bullshit. Please, you guys, be free to go get coffee or sweets or candy. Yeah, be free. Be free to go to the table and get whatever you need.
and so after some time that they didn't hear much from me because some of those questions I really couldn't answer. And I didn't answer them on purpose because I wanted them to keep on wondering. If they had bold enough, they should call me. But what happened was after reading a few of Pastor Sunday's books,
yes, please go ahead.
as I was reading Pastor Sunday books, because see, I don't just read Pastor Sunday's books.
Tell us about it.
Okay. The way I read Pastor Sunday's books is in questions. Every sentence is an answer to a question. Every sentence that Pastor Sunday puts in his book, switch it to the question, and you will get an answer for that question. So when man comes to you with a question, because you have been able to derive from the book the answers to questions, you will be ready to answer them appropriately. And that is where they begin to say, how did you get this answer that is so right? That's the power of the books that we are all reading. It's not just when people say, I finished, I read the book. I just say to myself, really? I have to go talk to that person. How did you do it? If you read it as, I am ready for people to come to me with their questions because I have answers for them. Read it again. When you go read your book, just read one sentence and switch it to a question and see what it is answering. That will be the core point of that sentence. So if you're going to do it sentence by sentence, what's going to happen to you when you finish the chapter?
You're going to become the book.
And so that's what I really want to do, is train people how to read Pastor Sunday's books so that they can literally answer people's questions, be solutions to people's issues with the wisdom and principle of God.
You have just prophesied part of your own calling, because you have unlocked exactly how he writes. He asks questions in front of God, and he comes with answers, and he tries to write in a way that answers other people's questions. You can help explain this to the world, Lola, besides the things you're called to do. Don't belittle yourself. This is exactly true, what you just said.
Bless God. So as we are all sitting here, and, those of you that are watching that have the book, that is what you have. You have solution for yourself. You have solution for your family. You have solution for your church members. You have solution for your pastor. You have solutions for strangers. You have solutions for anything that they need an answer for. You know why? Because God has given it unto us, the answers of man's issues. And we are seeking him, and he is revealing. So there is a lot of transformation. All of us that have Pastor Sunday's book, we are going to transform a lot of people. You know, as a result of doing that, you know what happened? People started telling me, wait a minute, Lola, this mentorship thing you are doing with Pastor Sunday, when you finish, I'm in line, the next one you're coming to teach me. So I've been hearing that. So one day somebody said it to me, and then something in my spirit just said, why wait? Why don't we start now? So that's how I started the book club. But let me tell you, when we say book club, you know, in the world, book club, yeah, I've been to a couple of book clubs. I could have read the book myself. That is how great the book club was. But this book club, is going to be delivering people. It's going to be healing people. It's going to be giving solution to people's life. Let me give you an example of the first book club. Now, how do I do this book club? I decided that if I try to tell everybody to come to my house, and we go to their house, I know people's going to, I'm not back by 6, I won't be back till 3. There's going to be all kinds of story. Okay, forget that. We're going to do this over the phone. We're going to do conference call. Come online when you get back from work. Yes. Come on, join us. So the first book club that I had, we were just reading Who Am I? Why Am I Here? By the time we got to page 2, I heard one lady said, you must be kidding. I mean, we're supposed to be having book club. I'm hearing at the background, you must be kidding. I mean, I've been wasting my life? Then one lady couldn't stop saying, this is crazy. Well, I'm hearing all this at the background. This is crazy. Then one lady said, I'm sorry, I have to stop you. Wait a minute. You mean I still have a calling to my life? I thought my life was my son that passed away. I have a calling more than my son. I have a calling more than my family. I was hearing all these comments at the background. I was like, what? What's going on here? Before I knew it, we had prayer, we had problem-solving discussions. Next one was testimonies of what God has been doing.
So there are so many problems around us. And you didn't even bring them to your home.
No.
How? You not bring it. Is it by Skype or what?
Telephone conference call. Just come on, have a phone number. You can always get 1-800. Yeah, people can just come on.
And such transformations?
That was amazing.
Someone had lost his child, his son.
Yeah.
And he thought he didn't have any life anymore. Just through telephone book club. And someone said, so apart from my family, so I have life? So there is life besides family?
Yes.
I guess there are so many other people out there who need answers.
Yes. And this is the way, Pastor Sunday, the way that you title your books, the way that the books look, the information. Just the first few pages. We're not even talking about going to chapters. I'm talking about the first few pages. We have the Bible, and we also have the practicality of life, of what people are going through, what they're wondering about God. They're wondering.
Just
they're
like,
wondering.
why should my son die? Why should my husband die? Why should good people die? Christians die? Answers.
Yes. And that's what they want to hear. You see, in church, we don't get that. All we get from church is so-and-so lost, let's pray for the family. And, that's it. Well, what about why?
The questions, why?
What about how do I go through this? What is the reason? Is there an outcome that is glorious even in that? These books, they're not just books. I'm sorry. God, where's my sister, Daddy God? Where is she? Daddy God, he is so hilarious, isn't he? Like, okay, yeah, sure.
You know what is coming to my mind right now? I think somebody needs to take these books and begin to do book library, book club, live. on live what do you call it? Yeah, Facebook Live, and just be reading them out and be discussing with other people and reading what I know that in Facebook now, there are now services in Facebook that you could do Facebook Live and show. If there are 3 people, the other people will be showing on the screen, and then you could all be reading it together and then be discussing it. And it's not just you, like me alone, you see, but you also see other people in other countries or other states, especially in America. If you live in America, they have that.
Wow.
You just prophesied the business plan I was going to present to you when we meet.
Okay.
Because every one of your books can be introduced on global television.
Okay.
And just the introduction of it, not only on Facebook, but on global television, is going to create a huge marketing demand for it. So that's what one of the things I'll be discussing with
Please,
you. But
want to talk
I
about
think when
that.
he says an idea like this, it's not just for one person. Everybody
Yes.
can grab it.
And even people watching at home.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something, a little parenthesis, and I say this at personal peril and risk because I'm extending what my mentor is speaking about. But anything that you hear that you have a passion for, even if you're not trained in it already, we usually think you have to get the training for it, but that takes time. It also works if you find somebody else who's already trained and you mentor them. So every idea, like the idea that was presented today, to make you a billionaire, if you will find somebody who works with import-export to help these Peruvian farmers get their organic products out, all you need to do is find somebody and disciple them in this kind of lifestyle, and you will split the finder's fee with them. You'll split with them. You'll become a billionaire with them. And my part in it will go 100% to do what Pastor is doing today, funding other things that are kingdom projects. This is God's idea. Come on.
So I will end it with, that was my second HMT, so I'm on my third one right now. But I want to end it with when you guys went to rehab, you went out on the outings and all that. So here I was here, and I was I was reading my book, Mountain of Ignorance, and I had this thought in my head. I said, oh, while I'm reading it, why don't I go get a cup of tea? So I came downstairs to make a cup of tea, and I took a bowl with me, and I filled the bowl up, thinking I'd take it upstairs so I could pour it inside the cups. Well, what happened was the bowl busted. And so I ended up having, I think, 6 cups of teas that I took upstairs. And I was like, what am I doing with 6 cups of tea? I only came for 1. So I put the tray down on the table, and I'm like, okay, I guess I get to drink all the tea. And then suddenly an idea came to me. Wait a minute. I'm reading a new book, and my book club is out there. I'm sure they want to know, what am I doing? So I just put the book down, and I took a picture. Well, it ended up that the book was right there, and so was the 6 cups of teas. And it looked like maybe I was having another book club meeting. And so they're probably all going to say, Lola, where are you? You having another meeting without us? And I just thought that was really interesting. And so what happened after I did that, I now got a message. I got a message for somebody, and they said, well, why are the churches telling people to donate money? Why are people following these preachers that are fake ministers that are doing all these? They had a whole bunch of questions. I was like, yippee, Mountain of Ignorance.
Right.
Go get the book by Dr. Sunday Adelaja. And then I took out a little quote from the book, and I put it there. And the person wrote me back and said, just at that time, he said, thank you so much. Thank you for the referral. Then somebody came back and wrote, ignorance is not an excuse. And then I said to myself, let me keep on reading the book. I have to figure out how to answer that one. So I was reading the book, and then I said to myself, I told the person, ignorance is not an excuse, but ignorance is the reason why. It's not an excuse, but it's the reason why.
Right, yeah.
Go get your copy of that book. So I have learned so much from HMT, from Pastor Sunday's Facebook Live program, In fact, when I came in April, he wasn't doing it. It was just after I left that he was doing the face life. And that was really good because it helped me to continue from HMT to him. So you are all blessed because when you finish here, you can now see HMT.
So this is a good way, a good thing to do. This is what she did. I saw it and I copied it. She took the photograph of the book she was reading, even as you are reading now. Just take the photograph and put it on the internet and tell this is what I'm doing right now. So this is what she did. And people started responding. Just as simple. She just put the book she was reading on the table. And cups, and all the 6 cups. And then responses began to come. Just doing something as simple as that. And you see the cups.
And so that's the love of my heart, is what's in the book and how it can change people's lives. You know, I'm seeing a little bit of it, and I'm looking forward to seeing much more of what will happen. Thank
Now you are planning to put them in prisons. You didn't talk about that yet.
Yes. A friend of mine, she flashed something out to me, and she works with the
How
library.
God provides, huh? How God connects. When you step out into your vision, into your calling, God will begin to bring everything else across you.
She sent it to me, and it was a flyer that said, California prisons do not have enough books. They are looking for people to donate books to the prison. I said, California? Do you know how big California is? Do you know how many prisons California has? Not to talk about juvenile homes and many other troubled institutions that come under the prison system. That is huge. So when I go back, I'm going to talk to her about it, like, how does this work? And also, how do we get these books into the library? Because there is a part of the library where you can actually donate books, and people come in there and borrow the book and return it. And I had done it before, and the books that I put in there, I never saw them again. They told me they couldn't find it, so that means people took it. So I want to see how the system works in the library too, and to have some of Pastor Sunday's books in the library, to be loaned and to be shared, you know. So those are the things that have really blessed me from HMT.
So good. Your speaker's voice is not fierce to the world.
Okay. Now, we just had the testimonies, but that's not my message yet. These are all in preparation for my message. My message will be starting right now, but since it's also break time, I would like us to go and take our lunch, but just going to be shorter than usual so that I could do my first session. But before then, I also want to tell you that my latest book is out already on Amazon, How to Regain Your Lost Years. How to Regain Your Lost Years. So you can go and get it on Kindle for a cheaper version of it, you know, for $3 for the 4 cents or 99 cents. And but when paperback will be, of course, more expensive after next week. So this whole week, between now and Saturday, you could get it. And this for people on TV too. And, you know, let's see what Shigo wrote about it. She said, the most practical life-transforming book, because she read it, I have ever read. This is about this book. It had me instantly moving to reclaim the life I thought was forever gone. Oh, and as I'm talking like that, there is somebody that having a situation in the breast, maybe on TV or somewhere. God is touching you right now. We rebuke that problem and we proclaim healing to you. Another person that is having problems with a knee, we also rebuke that problem. We proclaim healing upon your knees, that those knees will be restored and strengthened in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, and so we're going to have a break maybe for 30 minutes or something, or 40 minutes. 30 is okay. So let's say 30, no, between now and 2:30. So you'll be able to eat, go take fresh air. Maybe they should eat in the fresh air actually, because if it's not too cold. And then I'll be back 2:30 to do my first session, my real teaching session. Do I need to talk about it on television? No. Open it again because I lost it.